Can being lovesick be considered an illness? I'm going to prove this with the 3 books, The Fault in Our Stars, The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and The Notebook. The Fault in Our Stars is about 2 kids with cancer that fall deeply in love until Augustus died. This left Hazel to be heartbroken, depressed, and even lovesick. In The Perks of Being a Wallflower, Charlie suffers with post-traumatic stress disorder and depression because he was sexually abused as a child. Although this illness caused Charlie to not have many friends, he still managed to love Sam, even though she didn't love him back. But in The Notebook, Allie has Alzheimer's and doesn't remember the man she loved almost her whole life. Noah continues to read to her their life story every day in hopes that she'll remember even a little bit. The 3 books actually have 3 things in common. They all are about love. They all include a sickness. And they all the characters want to be known by the one person they love and not by the other 400 million people in the world. And there's actually 2 types of lovesick, the good kind and the bad kind. The good kind makes you feel like you're walking on water, there's rainbows in the sky, and your heart is just filled with joy. And the bad kind makes you feel like you're drowning in that water. There's a storm outside and your heart's been stabbed 40 million times. And I actually pulled out 2 quotes from The Notebook that show the good kind and the bad kind of lovesick. The good kind is, we fell in love despite our differences, and once we did, something rare and beautiful was created. For me, love like that only happened once. And that's why every minute we spend together has been seared in my memory. I'll never forget a single moment of it. And then there's the bad kind, after heartbreak. The reason it hurts so much to separate is because our souls are connected. Maybe they have been and always will be. Maybe we've lived 1,000 lives before this one, and in each of them, we found each other. And maybe each time we've been forced apart for the same reasons. That means that this goodbye is both a goodbye for the past 10,000 years and a prelude to what will come. There's actually a definition of lovesick too, and it is in love or missing the person one loves so much that one is unable to act normally. The example given is a lovesick teenager. Why is it that when we think of lovesick, teenager immediately comes to mind? Is it because they are fragile, emotional, and insecure? Or is it because we've all been there? Is it because we've all been so in love and had our heart torn right out of our chest? And even if we haven't experienced it, we've seen other people go through it. And it's just a part of life, and it sucks, but it happens. And teenagers, they are number 1 cause. But they're not the only group. Everyone goes through it, but someone I think of is the elderly, because they marry the love of their life, they marry them for so long, they love them, they have a great life, and then something happens, someone dies, life happens, and it's like the rug is just being swept right out from under their feet. And I actually have an example of this, is my great-grandparents, because they were really in love, they were married for a really long time, and then my great-grandpa got ill and passed away, and my grandma didn't know what to do. She couldn't keep herself up, she just didn't want to do anything, she really didn't know how to handle the situation, and it was really sad and unfortunate, and she was just heartbroken, and she didn't want to live without my grandpa, and so she didn't. She literally died a couple months later with a broken heart. But and love is different for everyone. It can be the best yet worst things in life. When some don't find the person to love, they begin to think that something's wrong with them. For example, one of my friends actually hasn't had a boyfriend and she thinks that something's wrong with her. She'll ask me, like, what's wrong with me? And nothing is wrong with you. Just because you haven't found someone to love doesn't change you as a person, and it doesn't change how awesome you are. And it shouldn't be based on that. But for some unfortunate people, the love that they recognize is the love that their parents had or didn't have. And we go through life in and out of love. So yes, and in and out of heartbreak. So yes, being lovesick can be considered